Alright guys, how are you doing? It's Brian from the Vid-Bits here with the 1,264 in wins and 3 loss record. Your reigning defending Chomp Champion. When I say the Chomp Champion, that means I'm the double Chomp. I got the North American Championship, and I am also holder of the global one as well, because we went through the list, and after we went through and rose to the top of the North American division, Eastern style, and then all the way to the top, passing the great Kofi, we basically then only had the global championship to go after. So I want you guys to realize that there is not much competition, and we've given the natural flow of life, you know, married with our ego, and also going through and touching down on all our social contracts, all the people that have helped us along the way, you know, shopping at the local curios, riding our bikes through the you know, the park and stuff, and just kind of breathing the air in and just taking it in, you know, the victory lap, so to speak. And I just want you guys to realize it is sweet, but I knew that I had to do all those things in natural order just to see if there's a chance if I'm looking after my rival that I passed, MintDaddyPig. So with that being said, it's the start of the show. We're going to do what we always do and thank our sponsor, water, and I hope that you enjoy some today. I'm going to have a sip right now. We're really non-branded, so whatever water you want, it doesn't matter.
We're actually sponsored by you guys. Right now, we're at that point where we're sponsored by our lovely members. Shout out to Skippy the Bard and Matthew at our completely unnecessary tier, and I've been shouting out the most recent member at any tier, and that's Greg Schneider at the buy us a bit of caffeine tier. So shout out to you, Greg.
You know what the good problem you guys created for us is, and we love you to death, and I'm a big wrestling fan, but like I've said before, Triple H, when he used to defeat opponents, he would have their name added to the list of all the people that he had defeated, and it was pretty funny because then, like, the whole thing was, oh, he just beat that guy at the pay-per-view, so the next night he's going to get added to the list, and it got so long that I think Triple H was like, okay, I got to make sure I say it in a way where it was memorable. And you guys have become so fervorous with membership here and subscribing and hanging out in chat that it's getting to the point where now it's like 11 or 12 like a baker's dozen. So we're gonna actually have to have like a whiteboard in front of us so we can make sure that you guys respectfully are all given the time. But I want to go forward, and I've said that too, and I love our guys that are in chat, but we're gonna always make sure to prioritize the people that are in the membership tiers first to make it feel special to be there.
Like, we're always gonna recognize whoever's here with us.
For sure.
If there's a ton of people, say there's 10 people, we're gonna make sure, like, you know, our homies like know that we're shouting them out.
Until you guys are making it go speed racer on the chats, I'll go ahead and say, especially on Chomp Champs, I'm gonna make sure that during certain pauses when I do the MC about the leaderboard spots, that I also shout out the people that are hanging out in chat, because it's important to me that you're, you know, giving me the energy, which I'm also trying to reflect in the product as well. So it's really one of those things that the wave lifts them up, and really you have the just as much of a influence on this as I do. So when we talk about manifesting the energy and the direction of the programming here at the Vid-Bits, you very much are a part of it, and to say so also more so when you are on a membership tier, because we want you to feel like it's worth the value that we're trying to equate with that. So with that being said, we're going to go in, and we're going to go into ranked, of course, because that's the division we're in. I don't know the metrics of who the best is in elimination, so, you know, we're going to have eventually something about elimination, but when I say the database for the E-League and everything with this is going to be associated specifically with ranked for right now until we can figure all that out, you know. And I also feel like that may be the best place for some of these guys in ranked that can't link up against each other in the halls in the game to actually duke it out, and we can maybe set up some stuff where we can get some lobbies where people that are really highly ranked do elimination matches against them selves and stuff, and we can like get footage of that. So stuff to look forward to if you're interested in Chomp Champs. And I hope that if you are interested in Chomp Champs, that you do support the game as well as the Vid-Bits, obviously, Pops Plays and all that. But when you support Chomp Champs, it does grow the community and has a little more likely chance to supply a human place in place of the bots. So we're gonna go into the top 20. Hopefully you guys are having a wonderful day. Actually, I was going right into the game. Sorry about that.
You should. I think you should load the game and just kind of show them off instead of. I know you've been.
But it's the way I start the show, bud. Like it's just that way.
I know. I just feel like sometimes
these people in 8 hours, some of these people have made moves, and they may never be seen again, and they may be bumping somebody else off. So I mean, it's very important to keep the tone of the show the same. And I want to make sure that, like, again, I know that when I look at this, P-Man has probably dropped even further because he doesn't seem very motivated. So
he doesn't want it. P-Man doesn't.
Yeah, see,
want
there's moves, and so don't you can add to the spice, but don't change the format. Most of the people wouldn't change the format to like a show like TRL, even though that show is not very good. So number 20, we have Gamer Bull. I definitely wasn't in number 20. The last person I called out on that actually got bumped off already. So. You know, people were motivated. Let me take a sip of water real quick. I'll go through this a little bit faster because I have a feeling that I'm going to get a little bit of a reaction out of the pig because we play all night. So, you know, there's got to be a pocket of time we get to see some movement with him, and I don't want to, you know, give him too much time. So, number 20 is Gamer Bull with 279-5 win-loss record and a rating of 19,765. Number 19 is Daddy Mark with a win-loss record of 278-4 and a rating of 19,783. It's almost getting up to that 20K mark, which there's a couple people hovering there. Number 18 is Gamer 2012 with a win-loss of 316-4 and a rating of 20,443. Then we have 17 Insanity Drew with this 279-1. And also tied at that, number 16, Guardian Fan Such with a 279-1, but the difference is a little bit between their ratings, which is 20,492 and 20,665 respectively. So they're really close. Then we have P-Man at number 15, and he still has not played since that loss. Still for days and days have not played, at least 4 days at least, with a 298-1 and a rating of 21,381. 14, we have Lucifer Heaven with a 305-0 and a 21,708 rating. And then 13 still is True Carnage. I believe that was the same spot that they were in the last time we checked, with a 321-1 and 23,808 rating. Number 12 is David Dow 00 with a 333-0 and the 24,611. They are still in the same spot. Number 11 is Nello with a 372-1 and the 26,330 rating. A pair coming up here that are pretty close, they're separated by about 40 in the rating. As Space and Shanimal at 9 and 10 respectively. At 383-0 though for Space and 407-2 for Shanimal, with again a difference of about 40 in the rating. So 27,754 versus the 27,791. It's a really close race between the two of them. They might be competing against each other just eternally, just to motivate each other. We have the number 8 one just barely edging out the top 7 is Eve Branch with the 430-5 rating, and then the rating is 29,047. So they're about to get up into this territory where only 7 people have gotten, which is 30,000 and above. We have Shiba Inu on the splash page in the very bottom, and they have the 536 and 11 rating. They are just beefing that up and going closer towards the 600 mark with a 33,136 rating. And then Mothership here, the number 6 with the 488-2, and we have the rating of 33,797. I'm going to pause for some hydration. In your top 5, we have Mr. Socrates 1988 with a 489-0, cresting up on that 500 mark and almost still going to be perfect, so close. We have the 36,130 rating. Number 4, AV 007 with the 626 or 621 and 6. They are the main person that we're looking at right now, because obviously they are about to eclipse. They are about to eclipse Kofi, and Kofi has only played one game since we beat them for the North American Championship. So I don't know what's going to happen there, but I'm thinking that if Kofi has kind of like decided to go into semi-retirement, that AV is going to eclipse him soon and be the number 2 contender, because Kofi has not moved since, again, we defeated him for that. So they have a 621 and 6 and a 43,956 rating. Now your top 3, we have Kofi YT, and they have the 829 and 0. They've played one game and pinged in a little bit. They have the 61,686 rating. And the former global champion MintDaddyPig with the impressive 1,252 and 4 win-loss record, and only the second person to hit 90,000 and 97, or so over 90,000. But they're all are also the first person though to hit the 70,000 and 80,000 point metric. But we were the first at number 1 to hit the 90,000 point metric, and going for what we call the key, which is the 100,000 point metric as far as rating goes, the number 1 spot and the global champion. Also, of course, then that means we are the United States champion. We are the Vid-Bits, and we have an impressive win-loss record of 1,264 and 3, with only being the first person to get the rating of over 90,000 with 91,831. So with that being said, every time I kind of let the stream settle and give the respects to everybody, the pig wakes up. It seems it did the last stream several times when we're trying to get through that, because it's not getting through it. To me, it's important that these people get the time and energy just to go out in their direction, because they're spending time with this game, and it really shows because they're on the splash page of the global leaderboard of Pac-Man Mega Tunnel Battle Chomp Champs, brought to you by our good friends at Bandai Namco Entertainment. So thank you very much for that. We are pursuing an active sponsorship, so we are just having a full disclaimer there. We're not sponsored, but obviously we are the Double Chomp, and we are your champion. We have both belts, and we're hoisting them high, and hopefully we can keep them through Mother's Day. I know we have the U.S. title locked down, because we're going to put some work in and make sure we can take it before that, and I hope that you guys are going to enjoy the journey there. Like, share, and subscribe. If you see me in chat, or you see Bray in chat, and you ever think that you want more of this, some of this is obviously it's going to be in the championship folder, you know, the road to number 1, but this is going to be mitigated more towards the Pops Plays channel when I'm doing the sportscasting and getting the E-League stuff, and then obviously all the plays that I have to make to keep my title defenses and stuff, unless it's getting to the point where, like now, obviously it's kind of good that it's still here, because I'm actively fighting the person I took the belt from, especially earlier today if you check that video out. So it's making its way here, but tomorrow especially I'm going to be shooting a lot of footage. It'll be actually the launch of the Pops Plays channel itself, so even if I feel like I'm to an audience of 1, anybody that's subscribed to the Vid-Bits, make sure you get onto that one, or you won't see any of that. You won't see any of it. I'm still making sure to do it for historical reasons, so it's almost still at that point I'm doing it for me, but I know that you guys are going to want to come hang out with me as that gets some traction to it. So it's mainly there to not distract from the Vid-Bits, but add to it and also add back to it, because now I have it so certain people are just going to that for Pac-Man, but then they will then see some of the awesome stuff that we do at the Vid-Bits or wonder what else I do, and I want them to go to the Vid-Bits then, and not just be at the Vid-Bits for the Pac-Man stuff alone. Does that make sense? It probably doesn't, but it makes sense to me, and that's all that matters at the end of the day, is how you feel about it. I don't want to dilute the brand of the Vid-Bits, but I know that I got to be the Pac-Man guy, because I love the little guy, and we're representing him here in a ranked game, and it looks like we did not have to worry about losing the Double Chomp, and we are still your champion. I'm really happy to be that. I can be undefeated and see how long I can push it. You know, giving him every 2 hours, I'm giving him I'm taking 22 games away from our something like that, so it's like 18 and 9. That's 27 games. No, that's what it's 2 hours. It's about 20 to 22 games if I take 2 hours ahead. So if I'm about 2 hours ahead and I win every game, that's 2 hours more he has to play to catch up. So when I tried to take the title from him, it was about 33 hours differential, and most people would have looked at that and thought that that was a gap that was only to be, you know, caught up if you were lucky enough to not to be on different time zones. And obviously when I'm facing somebody globally, it was a little bit easier to figure that metric out. But with the Vid-Bits are a team. Braden really helped me with the science. Also, what he thought when we had to predict his sleep schedule. I can't wait to really like go into the science of it, because I really talked to somebody that nerded out about it and talked to him a little bit, and like I was really kind of hyper about it. They were so psyched because they had done something that similar. We also had somebody in the chat, I think it was Skippy, that was talking about it. Aloof Squad. He's a little bit pressury. Was talking about, I think it was Skippy that was talking about a situation where he was doing that with a cell phone game, where you had to kind of figure out the person's pattern that you were playing against on the leaderboard, so you can keep up with them and, you know, play during the period that you knew that they were playing. It's so sweet that this kind of thing can exist in a niche like gaming itself, and then people don't know that this specific thing itself should be also subcategorized as esports. So I think that we should redefine that and relook at that. So at the very base, we're doing that one day at a time. That was not super savory. That's not how we wanted to start it, but it wasn't an L. It's alright. But that's the intro, guys, for the evening, and I just want to kind of lay that down, and I'll hone that in and dial that in as we get the Pops Plays channel launched. But it was really such a placeholder that it wasn't anything going on there until it made sense, and this is the thing that makes the most sense. So, hello, yes, it's definitely a pack snack, but I love that you hype me up like that. If you don't know what a pack snack is, it's when we do 18 games and win them back to back and just load right through them straight through and don't stop until we do it. And if we do it right and we do it well, it's about 90 minutes worth of play. We call it a pack snack. So you could also, you know, throw this on and second screen this while you're watching your favorite movie too, because sometimes we feel like we have to have a lot going on. And if you're gonna have a lot going on, then hell, just throw us on. And if you throw a pack snack on when you throw on one of your favorite, you know, mid-range movie, like about an hour and a half, you can watch all, you know, both of them at the same time. It's kind of neat. Supports the channel. It also lets you see like a little Pac-Man going on. I try to do some good play, so you don't have to have the volume up when you're looking at it, and you just have like a little time delay. I love second screening Bray when he's you know, doing stuff when I'm at my shoot job, but I know that it's not long before I won't have to be doing that. I'll actually just be like trying to stay away from his section of the lab so I don't get spoiled of all the cool stuff he's doing, and while I'm able to create on the other side of it and not be tethered to going to this place I don't want to be, because I want to be here with you creating all this awesome stuff. And you can support us by doing that by liking, sharing, and subscribing. Mainly just the first two, you know, liking and sharing. If you subscribing is great. We love you subscribing and we want you to, but if you don't really want to be around, we don't want you to sub, we really should have passed this along to somebody you think would be our cup of tea. But the thing is, if you're a gamer, we have such a variety that if anything else, why don't you tell us what's missing? Why don't you tell us what is, you know, don't tell us what's off-putting. If it's off-putting, then just put us off. But if you're thinking, you know, they cover gaming stuff, but they're not covering this type of gaming stuff, and there's no guarantee that we will, but I would love to know what you think the Vid-Bits is missing, because I think that we cover between the age difference and the generational gap between the two of us, and then the technology, what we find appealing and all that, between the two influences and everything. I think it overlaps and is so very different as well. So I want to know what genre, and that's basically a hit of like what genre is missing. We're not really wanting to with our extra money, we're trying to put it into tangible things, as far as like things that are going to improve our quality of life, like gaming chairs and stuff like that. So
getting better stuff, getting better things to sit in, getting better mics.
Well, my point is, I don't want to buy like a legacy console, because we have so much stuff going on with modern day stuff. So we don't need a collectible. Yeah, I don't want that right now at all. I'm more like, we have to have the stuff that we need to make this better. I mean, I'll be just honest, I need a better sleeping situation so I don't have neck and back issues, and Bray needs a better editing situation because he's doing almost all of that, and I'm still trying to get heavy into that. So
Matthew asks, just wondering, Bry, would you quit your shoot job for full-time YouTube?
Oh, it's almost there. Like, it's
I think it's one of those things that we just have to really be in the position where that makes sense, and I don't even think we have to elaborate beyond that.
Yeah.
Ultimately, like, it just needs to make sense, and until, like, we're gonna put the same level of passion into YouTube regardless, but one of these days, and that's all we'll say, one of these days, we will be able to, our dad specifically will be able to quit his job and not have to worry about that. We shouldn't, quantify it.
No,
but,
there's no timetable on it, because even if tomorrow we were the most successful I feel like we ever were, I wouldn't
Not
stop,
right away.
I wouldn't stop. I still wouldn't stop putting out the energy and the effort, and I wouldn't be like, let's take a step back.
Well, then what it would be is
we make it
then
better?
you would be able to get a part-time job that would be fun.
Yes.
Or something that would make you happy.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I think that would be the goal, right? Is then if YouTube becomes your full-time job, then your part-time job gets to be something that you
I would
enjoy.
love just to sit at the flea market all day and grow the brand to the people that walk by and bought my shit. Like
that
would be so much fun.
You can still make some gains in your free time,
Right.
and make it so your part-time job isn't like doesn't have your passion gets to be the full-time job, and your
Right.
part-time job also gets to be something you enjoy. That is the ultimate goal.
Absolutely. You're kind of like, it's a juxtaposition in a way, but you have to find a way where, because it doesn't make any sense at first. You're like, well, all I've ever wanted to do is this.
Your full-time helps pay for your part-time, or your full-time helps pay for your passion, and then your passion eventually helps pay for your secondary passions, and it keeps going, and
But you cannot stop. Like the thing, you cannot get complacent. If you, at one point you were like,
once
if you want to give up,
can't get to like once you start getting some growth, you can't really stop like that. Once you start posting, you just gotta keep posting.
It's almost always better. I feel like it's easier when I have him, because like if I'm in a situation where I stumble too much, I can say this is where the stumble is, and he'll tell me why I need to dial it better. You know what I mean? Like, and not everybody's in that situation to do that. But when you can, you won't have necessarily a partner that you're creating with. But if you do, you can literally be in a situation where I'm fucking up, right? I'm over processing, or I'm overproducing, and he'll be like, that's too much. Or even if I don't agree with you, can you at least critically look at it this way? And if I can objectively like argue my point, it still makes sense. He'll be like, okay, and he'll concede even if he doesn't understand about it, like stylistically, but he still will not make me feel like I'm stupid for feeling that. I think a lot of people, like what he was saying earlier, was talking about the creative flow where you will rewrite history by hiding our old projects. How are you learning from that if you can't look back at it? Like now, I know that certain people will whitewash some of the things that they say. That isn't really intelligent, because still somebody can pull that up. But if you can not, look at your old shit and think that that's how I've grown, your fans like to see that. I mean, I know that when I see somebody that's put together and I'm trying to figure out how they got there, I want to see where they've been so I can come along with the journey. That's the whole thing about the Dark Souls conquest that he's doing. Like, you want to be able to ride the journey.
Oh, and for those of you who weren't there, man, I literally am done with my first part of the journey is complete. The battle is won. We've completed Dark Souls 3 in its entirety. I don't feel like I have any regrets. I completed the game, and I picked the I didn't want to spoil it too much, but I picked the opposite ending from the ending I picked when I played. So that's all I wanted. You know what I mean? Like I wanted to pick the opposite ending, so I've now fully really experienced that game, and I feel like I'm so happy. All the bosses in their own right had just so much fun to them, and I think it's awesome, like I said, that our journeys lined up. Though I started Dark Souls a little earlier, like your Pac-Man, the climax of your number one status and everything that happened to be at the same time as me finishing up my Dark Souls 3 journey. So we're, big thing, like Dad always says, big things popping, little things stopping, and we're working on bigger and better things. We're branching the scope. The scope is broadening. We are looking outwards and trying to improve things. Like I said, we're trying to improve the quality of the audio. We're trying to get better mics, make it so there's less latency, less lag, get better Wi-Fi. Like we said, we're always trying to increase the quality of
you have made
the
it
output
clear
here.
Since like the beginning of this year at least that you want to see both of us like stream at the same time, and we're like,
I think it's possible. I think get a second streaming setup for Dad to make it so.
I need it now, guys, because you guys want me to do this shit. So I need it, and I don't want to like stifle Bray because he's got a big hill ahead of him to climb for the Elden Ring Elden Ring leg of his journey. So I don't want it to be like he's got to get some momentum, and so he's like got to have a 6-hour session. I'm like, well, I'm doing 2 episodes of Chomp Champs in like 2 hours intervals, like 2 times a day.
And to be fair, we have found that, and this is a little secret sauce for you guys. We have found that, in our personal opinion, no hate to any company in specific, but we found that the cheaper, not cheaper option, but the non super name brand capture card, not, I'm not throwing any hate, and I hope this doesn't push us from sponsorships down the way, but like we had an Elgato and it wasn't necessarily working for our specific situation, and then we got a cheaper but well reviewed and highly approved from consumers, a good capture card in our price range. So like, if you too want to get into it, a capture card to capture your gameplay to your computer is only like $60, 60 to 80 I think for a good one. So just keep that in mind, and then a good mic is around the same price. You know what I mean? It's like 60 to 80 for a good microphone as well.
Well, the guy told me that I talked to, and he even sold me down and said, if you go up to a higher range mic, it doesn't matter, because then you actually have to go up to a higher range like mixing program to make it work. So it's better to, if you have a mid-range mixing program, to get like the most adequately priced mic, so you're not wasting your money because you can't maximize what you do.
I still think we're in the position where we could benefit from a little bit of an upgrade.
I know we could.
It's more so the positioning of the mic, so we want something that can be like right in between both of us and not have to be, even if it's like we have a mic a good one that pins to one of our shirts or something.
If I can figure that out, dude,
I mean,
that would be
legitimately, whatever
phenomenal.
is the best quality of those kind of mics, we're looking into that kind of stuff to make it so we're not having. It sounds like we're far away from the mic because it's kind of in a little space that's like, it doesn't have the best sound where the mic itself is placed. But in the room itself, we have a good sound going on. But ultimately, like we said, we're always trying to increase the quality of the content, and every dollar goes back into it. Like we said, we are always going to be transparent as to where the money goes, and that's something that we want you guys to know, that we're so thankful for all of the donations. We're thankful for all of the support.
Yeah, but you know that they've already paid for $75 of the Switch 2? Can you believe that? Can you believe that?
$75 of the Switch 2.
That's what you guys have paid us for $75 of the Switch 2 so far. I mean, that's how much you've raised.
Yeah.
So when we get, I know that you guys are going to pay for at least the console by the time it comes out.
It's one of those things that, for content, and not to go in too much into it, but like, for the algorithm to stay relevant, you need to post things when they're at the peak of the relevance, right? And if it weren't for you guys, we would not be able to have, I don't think personally we'd be in the position where we'd be able to save up enough money to buy the Switch 2. And then subsequently, after we have, we've got that and we're able to, you guys are able to see the feasible thing that you've helped, provide us, we're also going to be able to show everything going forward. Say this awesome indie game that we bought it, using the Vid-Bits money, and it was on sale on Steam, and then we, say it's like half off, and then with the other half, we just gift one of you guys a copy of the game.
I told him the stretch goal, Bray. I said
we want almost weekly or monthly giveaways, some sort of organized way of having it where you guys tune in and there's some sort of giveaway where it's not for it's not for the views, it's not for any sort of thing where it's like just in the Discord, we're all getting together personally and in our own time, where I'm gonna let you guys know, what you've got, or how you could, maybe it's a little mini game you guys all play. I know Discord has some cool stuff where you can set up some sort of bot that has mini games where you can say you guys all play rock paper scissors for it, some sort of way where it's completely random, or some sort of slight skill, you know what I mean, where it's everyone's on an even playing field. I don't want it to be that you feel like you've been cheated or something. I really want.
That's why I like those wheels where you add everybody to it and you spin them.
That is a good one. Maybe we'll do that until we figure out some sort of fun, super interesting way to do it.
Yeah.
But we'll have a wheel with everybody's name on it, and we'll have it spun on whatever website is most commonly used, I guess, just just to make it so
Well, I mean, I know the first big. I've come up with 2 contracts to meet. I think the first thing is if they for some reason give us so much money that we buy everything that's available, like an extra controller in all of the launch games. Because to be honest, guys, sometimes they're only like 7. So if we get them all of the overflow will be like going back into everybody's pocket for that first thing. So
I think that everyone realizes how important full transparency is,
right.
and like around here we put hundreds and hundreds of dollars of our own money into this project, and this is not to like make you feel bad or anything, but this is like buying consoles, buying the means to record it, buying, you know, and supporting all of what goes into making that content. That like
from all the way to I have a phobia of driving, so I have to take somebody out to eat and pay for gas so they can get us to a place to get like a console because that's the only way we can get there. That type of shit. I know that's super deep,
and that's also temporary because it's one of those things where I'm 18, so I'm gonna start driving, but that's a whole other thing. Ultimately, we're just so glad that you guys, at the end of the day, are so supportive of us because, you know, Dad's been waiting and I've been waiting for a long time to have this platform to be able to talk to people and to be able to socialize and to be able to, you know, really hang out with you guys and have a cool, casual hangout.
This is cocky for me to say, but I've waited my whole life to be recognized as a world-class gamer, except for the couple people that's been around me, and to be able to have a world platform to do that is amazing. I don't think
Okay, actually, we need to take this opportunity real quick. I don't mean to cut you off. So there is a slight change of plans, and I'm gonna make a community post in regards to this. Something came up in my personal life where I'm not going to be able to be here tomorrow to be able to do Game a Day May, unless it would be in the 6 to 8 a.m. range. That would be that would be the only way we'd really be able to do that, which I don't really think that we're in the position to be able to record at that particular time, and it also wouldn't be ideal for you guys. So we're gonna push whatever the winning result is, and this actually gives you guys more time. You know what? That's what we'll call it. This is a rebrand. This is a little turnaround. This is an extension. We're gonna make it say the 30th or 31st to give us a little bit of wiggle room.
There's options on there that we will make sure that we give justice to in case they win.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Because we have a community poll going that's going to determine what game. The community represents as their game for Game a Day May. They are all community suggestions, and they're very different. I can't say that these games are very similar. You know, it's polarizing, and it's one of those things that it's gone up and down. It was going one way, and a certain game was winning, and then another game started coming back into the lead. And I'm surprised that some of the other games haven't peaked in been a feature of that. I think it's funny because we actually played a game that didn't win a poll today on Game a Day May. We played Content Warning, which had lost a poll, but there was enough people interested in it from the poll. It was like it was one of our most engaged polls of all time, guys. For which day did we do? Let me see. That's day 15 of Game a Day May, where we played Red Dead Redemption, which actually started a series where I play Red Dead Redemption in my free time to kind of calm down, relax, de-gauze from my day, whatever that may be from whatever was stressing me. And if you want to go check that out, we have a playlist on the channel. But that was the first poll that we really got a good reception, where a good amount of people have been like, hey, we want you to play these games, and we're just glad that you guys are so interested in that. And going forward, even when it's not Game a Day May, we're certainly gonna listen to you guys' suggestions, because we know you have good tastes, because you like the same games we like.
Yeah, it seems
and
so.
Especially Matthew. Shout out to Matthew in chat, if you're still with us. Matthew already had Content Warning, which is a game that I had just started seeing, so he already knew about that. And and I was talking to him about games a little bit, in chat. We were talking back and forth in one of the streams about games, and it's just he has a good taste. You guys here in the community have a good taste in games, and I'm glad that you guys both have a good taste and a good attitude. So we're all like so happy to hang out together and like build this really peaceful and happy community. Even at times when, you know, sometimes when we have a super long endurance kind of like long-term thing, like when Dad was doing his 10-hour streams, it's gonna get a little crazy. You're gonna, you know, lose your mind a little bit, but it's like at the end of the day, we're all so supportive, and I like Dad said, all the precautions are in place when he does a thing like that, where it's like he's doing a super long accomplishment. There's a hospital nearby. I would make sure that he gets there right away. I'm capable of driving him there.
Like now I don't have to stress about that, because it was one of those situations where, like, because I made that giant leap, that 33-hour head start was like, when we caught him off guard, it was an endurance where I then had to keep doing that, or he would have then thought he had to spend like 18 hours in a day to keep the lead, and luckily we just, man, kept hitting the pavement, guy. And I'm sorry if you guys were, like he said, a little off-put by the Pac-Mania, so to speak, because it was a bit much, and as an endurance thing, it's not just my pitch for the fact that these things have those type of weights to it where you're like training for an event, but there's no reason why you can't look at what I produced energy-wise. Doesn't classify that at all, because now I got a horrible placement. I couldn't feel any, like, if I felt with my empathy that I watched somebody else go through what I went through, that'd be like, why are they torturing themselves? And then when I sell you face to face about how passionate I am about Pac-Man, you'll realize that I did it out of love for the game, for my brand, for my son, for my life, and for everybody, for Pac-Man. I did not plan 12 or 14 days ahead of his birthday to make it all line up.
Yeah, that just happened.
How could I do that? How could I do that? Like, who? And I Babe Ruth the whole thing. I said, I'm gonna be the on the second day is when I started the playlist. It said road to #1. I was like, that sounds so tacky, but it's gonna be so cute when I.
It didn't say tacky. It sounded tacky. It sounded awesome.
I mean, I don't
But
know.
you did call it. You were like, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna be the #1 global ranked player, and you did it.
We are on top of the world, baby. And if you're in the Vid-Bits, you are with us, man.
Dad, I know. Like, you represent us, you represent both of us, but you personally have the accomplishment. You can say that you are the #1 global player across all platforms, across all regions, ranked. And that's something that, like, a lot of people strive to be #1 at a game.
They're so trying to discredit it. And I was like, even if it's just against AI, that means I'm playing this better at a masterful level.
Because the game is still growing. Those people are
yeah.
hating. And if people actually give this game a chance and they start playing it, in 3 to 5 years, you'll be playing against all real players.
Yeah, absolutely.
It takes time for a server to get populated.
And you don't want to be populated by casuals, because then it's toxic.
You don't want it to be free to play, because people will be cheating. They'll find some way to break the system and cheat.
Yep.
But people, it's almost, in a sense, like what I was talking about with DLC, how developers, like, if you're in some sort of ranked thing, there's some sort of paywall that makes it so if the game's free to play, the game will have DLC that you have to own to make it so you can participate in ranked competitive play. In this case, the game is just $20. You have to spend $20 to play the game. So you're not going to want to forfeit your $20 in the ability to play the game by compromising your integrity by cheating. So if, like, you know, it's by smurfing or whatever,
plus I have all the records, I have all the receipts. I've been showing the leaderboard now for quite a bit of time. So, like, if somebody just shot up out of everywhere for the love of the game, I'm gonna report you, because you're not gonna. I'll know where did you come from. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's very evident who's putting in the work, and somebody just can't show up tomorrow with 300 wins.
But Dad, you're also the type of person that you've seen the pace, so you know if it was reasonable, if it was like, oh, that dude just pulled an 18-hour session, and that's how they did that. But it's like, at the same time, like, it totally makes sense.
Yep, because that happens sometimes. I'll be competing on a leaderboard, and then all of a sudden the top score will be 1,000,000 something in a score of fest of like 100,000. You're like, why is this top score 1,000,000 and then like 1,000,007 or something weird? And it's a glitch sometimes. I don't know if they're cheating sometimes. And it was frustrating when it's happening across different mediums and different leaderboards. It's not even just consistent either. So the integrity of the leaderboard is the only reason why your score matters. And so far, this is really there's a lot of integrity. The rating system makes it so the win-loss system can matter. Who wants to care about that? But like I said, when you smurf, that doesn't really make sense, because you're dropping your rating so hardcore by doing that you're not going to compete high in levels, and you're not going to even rise to the top 20 by doing that. So
It's for wins only.
right. Oh boy, that number is 5 million, but you could probably get the lowest place 32, and then it would still take forever to get any visibility. And we're definitely gonna be like, well, look at this guy. And that's how I'm gonna call you out. I'm like, look at this guy. This guy here. This guy thinks he's Mr. 4,000 and whatever fancy pants, and then you got a rating of like 20,000 or something. Like, our power level is almost over 100,000. What is yours? Oh, well, I got 4,000 wins. Okay, did it matter? No.
And that's Dad's current goal, is road to 100K right now.
Yep, that's what we're doing. We're working on it tonight, and then depending on how I feel, I'll probably, it depends. I'm trying to see how long Mint Daddy is. I'm also charting when his sleep pattern is based on when he plays, so I have to play long periods of time.
That is how you know this guy is your rival, when you're paying attention to when he's sleeping.
Yeah.
You're literally like, I'm going, and checking the Xbox app to see like, hey, is Mint Daddy online? Is he online? And like, if I can give Dad that little bit of recon, that little bit of info.
Then you wake me up and I'm like, I don't care. Like, no, we gotta be champion, Dad. We gotta be champion.
Because you told me.
I know.
You told me to. If you didn't tell me to, I wouldn't do that.
No, I definitely agree. It's one of those things.
I try to keep you motivated, man.
It's one I still had to actuate. He still had to continue to push me, like to go one-on-one. It was beautiful. To me, it was like, a very modern day rival, and that's why we're selling this as, I think
you should go into some of your previous leaderboard rivalries on other games.
Yeah, there's this guy. His name's J-Veg. That's all I'll say. And
I think it would be interesting if you could find out who J-Veg is. And there are so many leaderboards.
We're across different consoles, across different game packages. So it's not even the same company and the same type of leaderboard. So it's like we're
bunch of classic arcade games.
That dude has like the same.
He has the same taste as Dad.
Yeah, he does. He does.
He's competing across, like you said, multiple platforms, multiple games with the same person who goes by J-Veg, and he fluctuates, like where in Atari games he was literally like super high ranked, and then J-Veg literally like took his first place in one of them.
4 first places on like
Dad was
Flashback.
In a couple Atari games on Xbox. He was literally world champ on like 3 or 4 different leaderboards.
Black Widow. I don't know, man.
With your epic win, and as we round out the first hour of the stream, I want to thank a couple people as I head to bed, because I'm a little tired.
Hey, you had a full programming buff.
Yeah, I finished up my Dark Souls 3 journey, so if you guys were there for that, thank you guys so much.
You're halfway over.
I can't wait to start Elden Ring as soon as possible. I'm gonna have a day off tomorrow. I'm gonna spend time with my loved ones, with my family. So thank you guys so much for that. Shout out to Skippy the Bard and Matthew of the Completely Unnecessary tier, as well as Cats Are Green, Smarty, Blazin, and Jedi Knight of the Significant Contribution tier of our membership, as well as the Bias a Bit of Caffeine tier. The most recent member being Greg Schneider, followed by Rusty Bucket, and the OG Puzzler Studio, aka Musicus Dominium. Shout out to him for all of shout out to all of those people for their continuous support and help to grow the channel, the quality, the brand. Ultimately, we're just trying to invest and put everything back in. We're just so happy that you guys really are here for the vision, the journey, and it's been great, man. I look forward to spending more time with you guys on stream, and message me on the Discord or something if you want to play Minecraft on the Realm or whatever, if you're a member. But take care, guys. I love you so much, Dad. I'm so proud of you. Like I said the other day, I'm so proud of the fact that you are number one. You represent both of us at the top of the leaderboard and everyone in our community. So
they really believed in me from day one, and I'm not trying to be mean, but like I really would, if I was supporting a small channel and they said they were trying to go for something like this, you guys didn't know the full extent of our gaming acumen. We try to be humble.
But they obviously did, because it's like they know that I'm good at platformers, and they know that I had to learn that from somewhere. But then they know that I have my own skills, and you've even said that on stream. But like the fact that, like I said, I I can't even bring this into words, like how crazy it is, the fact that I beat some of the hardest bosses supposedly in gaming and really finished up my Dark Souls 3 journey, beating some of the hardest Souls bosses as far as like the community is concerned, right as you're like facing your rival and beating the final boss in in your leaderboard journey to be #1 globally. And it's like I feel like the Vid-Bits are on top, and if you guys are ready for this ride, we're gonna continue to trend upwards. Thank you guys so much for your support. I'm gonna go get a well-deserved good night's rest. If you all are gonna hop out of here soon to go to sleep as well, I hope you think about how awesome you are, how you too can achieve your passions if you put your mind to it. Yeah, you guys are very special, and I know if you're a part of this community, you're very awesome and passionate and just fantastic people. So take care, guys. I'm gonna go get some sleep. I'll see you, Matthew. I'll see you, Dad.
All right, love you, bud.
Yeah, take care, guys.
I love that guy. Well, you can see we have a crisp 20 wins over our rival now, and that's pretty sweet. I'm really hoping that Kofi wakes up and decides that they want to defend their honor against AV, because they're just knocking that door down, and Socrates is cresting upon 500 wins. But you can see the difference in rating really there between like a Shiba Inu, which has 536 wins, and Socrates has almost 50 less wins, but the difference is really showing in the rating there where you can be that far down. So I do like the fact that I have this time in between there, though, to talk about those people, but I really hope that you will encourage anybody that sees those people that are in these leaderboards that they should be creating their own socials, so that I can link that, or have like people know that they should link back to that so they can show all their play and stuff like that, because that's part of this too, is trying to build this community. And if you lift them up and they feel like it's important to them, like as it feels as it to me, then they may feel the motivation to not only put their play up for everybody else to see, but even maybe necessarily start their creation journey. So it's like a double, it feels like it fulfills two different roles at the same time. So That's a little bit tricky there. You can only, like, you have to pretty much draw them out. And then you have very little room for error. And, like, you can, like, slip around those corners pretty easily. And you go up and through, and down. Hope you're having a good evening on the late shift trying to defend the World Championship, the Global Championship. We are the double champ, the double champ, the double champion, because we have the North American Championship and also the Global Championship belt in this game. So we really are the, if you're watching the guy that's ruling this game completely. In the name of the Vid-Bits, my name is Brian from the Vid-Bits, and I'm part of an amazing father-son gaming duo that's taken the world by storm, and we're very happy and blessed to have you here. Pushing off in the stratosphere, guys. Again, we're doing this for you as much as me and America, apparently, because we just took the belt from some other country, and before Memorial Day we'll be hopefully hosting Hive both of these championships. Definitely the American one, because unfortunately for Kofi, there's no way that if I quantify how big of a lead I have, it's like he's, you know, I have a you know, he has 2/3 of my score, so that's that, and then the next person behind him has half my score, so there's that. So it's nothing personal, it's just I'm putting in the work, and now it's going to be really hard for you to catch up, period, to be the champion. But we do have MintDaddyPig that is really knocking down the door, and you know, I guess if the analogy is, if he should be the one worried about hiding in the straw house, and we are the big bad wolf, the lone shadow wolf, if you will, and we are huffing and puffing and knocking down his abode. And here we are as the #1 Chomp champ, and I hope that you appreciate that, because we are doing it for you as much for me. I would have done this by myself, but you know, the motivation of people in chat, like we got Matthew still, he's amazing, and then Pink Panther stopped by, you know, and again Bray talked about some of the people that we have in the completely unnecessary tier, Skippy the Bard and Matthew, and then by a bit of caffeine tier, so it's from the highest to the lowest, Greg Schneider, you know, Rusty Bucket, Puzzler. But then we have in the middle the significant contributions, Castle Green, Smarty, Blazin, and Jedi Knight. So thank you guys for all of your support, because that goes towards the Nintendo Switch 2, coming whenever they say it is, and we already have $75 in the bank because of those guys putting forth the support. So when we say these programs are from the support of viewers like you, like they used to say, it is, but in a way it's more enjoyable because of support from viewers like you. So like, share, and subscribe, and because all the exposure will be the greatest thing ever. We'll get more reach, and we can do stuff with esports and get all that fun stuff going for you guys. And the Pops Plays channel can be the source of the esports stuff, and you don't have to worry about it ruining too much of your flow here at the Vid-Bits, because we're more providing a varied amount of entertainment for you in the form of compartmentalized channel type experiences, where you'll see some Bray stuff, you'll see some Bry stuff, you'll see some stuff that crosses over. Sometimes we yell in the background at each other when we're doing our single stuff, because you know, the compound is really small, the laboratory is really small, but it's small but mighty, and we're continuing to create magic from it, and I hope that you're enjoying seeing it. So if you don't like this one, then there's over 860 other videos that you can click on, which has just got a bunch of stuff from Cuphead content to playthroughs of, we had Shredder's Revenge, and then also stuff like complete playthroughs like in one sessions for Castle Crashers, Undertale, you know, stuff like that. So check out some of the stuff, and if you don't like any of that, support. If you don't like any of that, that's fine. But do you like indie games? I'm sure you do. We do a program called Game of Day May every year, where we feature a different game every day in the month of May. And this year the theme was indie games. So far we're pretty close to the end of that. And there may be a couple outliers due to community polls, but the majority of them overwhelmingly have been indie. And you should check some of them out and see somebody else's raw opinions about them. It doesn't mean that we're right or absolute, but I promise you that it's going to be probably the most honest journalism you're going to get, because it's completely raw, real. Maximum right now, Pow Boom, and you're seeing it live. And if you like that type of reaction in general, we do have a folder called First Impressions, where the feeling is even more mutual that, because we're just dialing it in real quickly. We see the game, we click on the button, we download it, we buy it, we just have it loaded up with no preconceived notion, and then we just go in raw and give you our opinions of it while we're playing through. And that whole session is determined by the fact that we know that the most we can go is 11 hours and 55 minutes, so we're willing to almost go that if we have to make sure that we have a good first impression and get, you know, that out there to how people feel. And that's just the segue to how this happened, because we used the first impression of this to decide that we were going to be the champion of the world, and here we are. So it must have left a good first impression, and also made it so that I wanted to make sure that Pac-Man was the only one displayed here in the game, where you're about getting gussied up and dolled up like all kinds of versions of him. So we get delivered the throne of the world, as we said it, before his, or right after his birthday, and because it just lined up that we just missed to giving him on his birthday, but we just got there, and with our legendary battle, we can show the world that right around Pac-Man's birthday, we were battling for the championship for him, skinned up just like him and not dolled up with anything else, and he was able to secure that. We were able to secure that for him and give it to him the day after his birthday when he got done with his PR tour. So congratulations, Pac-Man, on turning 44. Next year we got your 45th birthday. We can't wait to see the competition here and how much we can grow the field. And I think it's great that you guys have a whole year. Look at it as a blessing, I guess, that this has not matured so much in the beginning, because you have a whole year to build your profiles up, get your socials going, make sure that you start to, you know, record your footage and be able to get your YouTubes and all whatever you have as your socials, so you can start to have a database. And we will do as much as we can in our free time to archive that and get that stuff together. But I'm hoping that as a community we'll pull together more and rope that in, because we know we want it. We're seeing little, you know, feelers about it, and I feel like, you know, I'm doing my part by featuring you guys and trying to get you fired up if somebody is watching this, and then you feel like you want to be like knowing that you're going to be connected and shouted out. And then that's great too, because then you say, hey, it's the Vid-Bits, and it's Brian, or he's Pops plays in the Vid-Bits, and he's the guy that's the champ, and you know, he's featuring me because and he's showing me that I'm putting in the work. It's all love all around, and you know, that's why I'm doing it, guys, for the love of the game, for you, the gamers. So this ranked game is going to be awesome. I'm going to try to do something just unique and weird for myself. I'm going to try to clear the upper or the lower left and the upper right corner maze first, just to give myself a bit of a challenge. I had somebody in chat the other day tell me, I think it was yesterday, say, hey, how would you do a maze like this? And I was like, I think this is what you would be is the approach. And it was funny because I was able to do it specifically for the person, as they were saying in chat. Now I can't guarantee I do that all the time, but it felt like a Picasso moment where I was like, oh, I see where he's coming from. I can paint that for him. So just to do something fun, like I said, the lower left corner and the upper right, just because I don't traditionally do that. Like, look at that, there you go. And that was not trying to perish doing it, but you know, there we go. There it is. Woo! We did it! Hooray! Well, guys, I might segment this off into another pack snack after some time. I'm going to spend a little bit of time offline after this match, and I may settle down for the night, and then you'll see me earlier in the morning. But it looks like our rivals slowed down, since I've got a nice 25 game streak ahead of them. I'm going to give them a little bit of time to do some catching up, possibly, but I'm going to go ahead and end with this pack snack in this episode of Chomp Champs with this victory here. And I don't know, you might see me with a different project. I haven't done something that's not on the scheduling block, and I have something, and I might just start it. It's something I did before, so I might do something. Let's see, because Bray's going to sleep, and I have to break the tension a little bit, so I might do a sleeplessness. I haven't done one in a while. It's late, because I know he's got stuff to do. And because I'm 25 games ahead, a nice quarter 25 games ahead, I might do a sleeplessness and then run some Pac-Man. You see, yeah, I think I'm gonna do that. I'm pretty sure he's not catching up, and plus it's almost like a bonus for me because I did the victory lap around town. I made sure to tell everybody around town that they were now in the same city as the double Chomp champ. And I kind of funny. It's funny. I led into it that they were just the champion of America, and so they were really hyped about that. And I was like, no, actually, it's like, to quantify it, it's actually the whole world. I just did that because, like, not unlike our fans, they really believed that this was going to happen as much as I did somehow. But the people that I talked to around town, they were supportive, but when they really realized that I pulled it off, I think that they were inspired to try to do stuff that they were neglecting to do. And it's like, I'm not saying that everything that we do is supposed to be like super motivational, but honestly, if you aren't, like Bray said earlier, like trying to leave something better than you found it or whatever, then you're not really part of the solution, you're part of the problem, and that's why you don't seem to be like harmonizing with the people that are around you. So kind of put that, your rotation and think about what am I doing possibly the people that I think are even supporting me to allow them to not actuate their dreams, because by proxy I'm like holding them down too much. People are quick to be angry when somebody doesn't support them in the same way that's not working over and over again. Like if you needed money and I for a problem, and instead of letting me solve the problem, you got mad that I didn't give you the money. But statistically, when you get the money, you don't solve the problem. It would be better to allow somebody to come in there and almost like extract your inability to be, mature and responsible with your decisions, and just say, okay, then I'll do it for you, because it's not seeming to happen when I help, like, put it in your hands. So the whole point, I guess I'm saying, is like self-actuation really only occurs when you want to hold yourself accountable. If you're never willing to do that, then don't even think that you can start manifesting. Like, I guess if that makes sense. Like, the reason why we're being successful right now is because eventually, and also because of the contract we've made with you guys, that we're going to be very, unapologetically, authentically us, even to a fault sometimes. Like on the road to #1, I was very crazy and all over the place, but put yourself in my position. You're a child from the 80s, and you missed out on competing in the arcade era. You loved Pac-Man, but you missed out on even like the other way. Since you weren't in arcades during the 80s, since I was an 80s kid, I was very young, so there's no way I would have been able to even compete in arcades if people were still playing Pac-Man, let alone reach the sticks, right? So to have that mentality about it, and to always believe that I wanted to be good enough to do it, and then come up with the concept of like virtual leaderboards, so I had to, and then the trophy metric and all that, or achievements, so that I was motivated to try to get better, and then finally breaking down that desire to never look at tech, so looking at tech so I could learn patterns, and then I started building my confidence, and then eventually I'm just like in my own room on like a lot of the different mediums to play the Pac-Man ROMs and stuff that are licensed. I'm getting better, honing it in, playing all the legacy titles that are like, the building blocks to where we got here, and using each of them and remembering how they individually work and like what I like about them. All of that stuff marrying up, but then being in a situation where there's a battle royale, and the whole battle royale thing was intimidating in general because like the whole PUBG, Apex, all this mentality. I was like, that's not for me. I'm older than that. So I'm defeating myself. I'm having that doubt that I can never compete there, and then I'm kind of sticking my head in the water because I'm like, okay, I play multiplayer shooters and I'm mid, but I enjoy them because the story is usually something I can do, and then I don't have to stress about what other people think. Because unless it's my friends, if it's my homies and we're going through a 4-player thing, then it's great because they're not judging me because I don't hang around those people anymore. They're not judging me shittily, or if they are, I really know how to take it like a rib and I'm cool. So what I'm saying is this: if you have like some sort of social anxiety, and then your relief is supposed to go to the multiplayer aspect, and you can't, and then you think that you can be super competitive, and then you dip your toe in the water where you try, and it's not your niche. But then lightning in a bottle, as Thor says, happens where then the thing that you love the most, that you spend all the time in for selfless reasons other than to want to be rose up on these leaderboards that you're just showing your couple friends and snapping pics on your phone, collides with Battle Royale and all that time you spent making it so that you're way above the pack, so to speak. Statistically, you see it. Like, when I do the spreadsheet of how many times I've come in places other than first, I'm not even going to be cocky. Most of the time, I'm just too distracted trying to make sure I formulate my next opinion and not sound like I'm a Pac-Maniac. I mean, I am a Pac-Maniac, but I don't like being super hyper about not being able to wrangle in my point, because I'm just excited that you could see it in like a wave from the beginning hour of Road to Number 1, like when I'm just kind of like passively happy that there's a new Pac-Man game, to quizzical about whether or not I'm going to be able to be competitive in it, because I wasn't going to I said I wasn't even sure about rank because I didn't want to throw my name out there, and I was going to just be casual because I just didn't want to embarrass myself. So there's the doubt again. So when you really are talking about and roping it back down to self-actuation, it's all about maximum right now, pow, boom, and we say it all the time around here because that's the easiest way to say something small to get you to work towards it. It's 5 words, so you can remember them pretty easily, and it's really like it's your own little key as a self-starter to get you going. If you can use those words to remind you, like, hey, just do. I mean, if you even want to condense them down even more, you could say, hey, do a little bit more today than you did yesterday. I know that's more words, but somebody might get that better. It just depends, because at the end of the day, how you feel about it is all that matters. I mean, anything. Someone can give you the most poignant advice ever, and you could look at it and be like, fuck you, you're being a patronizing person. Or it could be coming from somebody that's got it all together, and it still comes across patronizing even though you love them, because you're not able to actuate what they're saying because you can't hold yourself accountable. So roping it all back around, segueing it back around, if you want to actuate, hold yourself accountable, realize that you will do everything that you want to do if you fucking work on it every day, but you're going to have a support system that can help you wipe out, and realize that eventually, until like your passion and your dreams marry up with each other, and you know that they are like now balanced, you will feel manic and you will feel a little bit crazy because you don't know how to handle that. I mean, nobody knows how to put that tangibly. I have gone around everybody that I've known, and I will just cockily say, cockily is horrible, that's horrible phrasing. I will say with a very cocky tone, like, and not even intentionally, but like, how do you feel, or what would you feel like if you didn't know what it was like before you're finally able to actuate your dreams? Like, know that for sure, like, that's the best way of saying know that you're going to blow up or make it. Actuating your dreams, being able to do what you want as your dream, as your job, and make monetary gains where you don't feel like you're a disruptor in the wrong way. It's for all the right ways, and it's making even the people that don't want you to succeed money, and then the people that do want to see you succeed make money. And then when you have a noble goal, like it's also like healing the culture and philanthropy, not everybody that's trying to do content creation is doing it for the right reason, is really what I'm saying. It all boils down to starving artists starves until they get their art that's appreciated. People are appreciating because you're painting for a baseless reason other than you are motivated to paint. You're never painting for the sale of the painting. You're not ever even if it's a commissioned thing, they're commissioning you to create the art. So most of the time, if they're doing that and they're wrangling it in too much, it's never going to come out the way that it's supposed to, number one. And number two, you should never be doing the art for the money. So like when we've been starving for 2 years, we also were lucky that we love games. So as our passion to play games offline we are able to build an amazing game collection for really weird cosmic reasons. We had things locked already in our backlog that made no sense, so things can just fall in place where they, you know, with us, it's a very organic feel with the stuff that we shoot. Streaming is perfect for us because honestly, I don't have time for long form content. When it makes sense, I will do it. Like, I guess RPGs are good like that. I guess that might be something really cool to be able to do an RPG and then to edit out all the lag, like in between getting in fights, and then like also know that I'm not going to speak there, so we can have like funny annotations and stuff like that for the journey. But like, to me, there's such a personal thing that if I was to do that live, I'm like we did with Stray, so distracted on trying to enjoy it myself, but then also make it enjoyable for you that it's fucking shit to watch. I never really was able to quantify that to other people, but that's pretty much what it is. Yeah, Matthew, sleeplessness, I've only ran one of them. It's a really lowbrow thing. I just throw up the title card, and then you don't even, like, you just know that I'm streaming, and I'll just do NES and just kind of fuck around on NES for a while. Have a really sweet setup now with a HD Nintendo that we got from our good friends at Arcade Legacy in the Cincinnati Sharonville area, and they got a real good deal on it. If you don't go to a place like that, like if you don't have a curio that has like secondhand that you can rely on, you can actually still get those from retrousb.com, and it's a HD Nintendo, and it just makes it really easy to create good footage for you guys now, and you're not going to see the wavy cosine lines in there. Unfortunately, I know as classic and fun as that is, it doesn't necessarily look like the best, but it does like prove that it was authentic. But yeah, we picked one of those up so we can do old school Nintendo for you guys, especially because I have to get in fighting trim to start doing some of the speedrun stuff Craig keeps talking about. It's like we secretly like haze each other by making each other do stuff that we're not going to tell each other off stream. Like, you know, he wanted to do DLC for Dark Souls 3. He knew he wanted to play Elden Ring's DLC, and he knew he was going to catch up, but then like I kind of wove that together for him. Like, yeah, you're doing that as like a journey, and he knew he was doing that, but like as far as like making sure that you guys knew that he's trying to pace it out, where like when he finishes Elden Ring, it's like the final blow of whatever, and like whatever makes sense to wrap up, and then like the next day, as soon as that shit goes live, he's going in it with everybody else. But instead of that time where you're just loading up your save and spending time trying to reconnect the character and like remember your gear and going on fucking the internet to try to find out like where you're supposed to be, he's gonna know where he's supposed to be, he's gonna know where he's been, you guys are gonna have followed him through it, and then you're gonna follow him into it. And I think that as gamers we do that anyways, right? Like, I know when I get a sequel to a game and I haven't played the previous game in a while, I'll go back and like want to play those, and unfortunately if time does not permit, I just go like look at a synopsis, or like I'll go up and watch somebody's review of something I've already played again to get me back in the feels. So he's gonna really do that for you, not to say not to play the great games in the series or whatever games that you want to play in preparation for that, but like him specifically is doing it, and he's got people that are like following for that, and you know, just following along with that. So that's what makes a Conquest unique. I'm just not trying to oversell the product, because you guys watched me in our chats. In 2 weeks time say we're going to be the best in the world in a game where people had a week head start, and they had reason to work hard because they paid $10 extra and had hundreds of wins over us, and we still caught up and passed and are now the complete global mega double chomp. So we are the North American and global champions. So we have 2 championships. I was going to just say, oh, I'm the chomp champ, but hell, I never knew how I could ever have 2 titles, and damn if I don't. So, and if you add the fact that, you know, I'm holding them both at the same time, then that makes me the ultimate undisputed reigning defending Chomp champion. And I can't wait for Namco, Bandai Namco, to send me the titles. If you don't, I'll have them made, but I'd rather them come from you guys and look sweet, because we all know that all kinds of companies commission belts now for people that achieve greatness in gaming, and I don't really want a trophy. I just want either a sweet plaque to put on the wall so that all of our fans can know that we have the first of many great accomplishments to go on our wall for the esports that we're going to do. Because me and Braden, you know, we deserve to see these things so that our fans can see how much work we put in to show you that we're world-class gamers here that run the Vid-Bits, as much as, you know, people that are trying to create great content for you guys. The ability to do that through world-class gameplay, and also be humbled enough to do that through stumbling through and putting ourselves vulnerable for doing first lives impressions, is what makes us unique. Because I'm a world-class gamer and you beat me at this game, and we're something that you're playing as a subscriber, we get thrown in the humble brags folder, and you can be like, hey guy, you know that guy that's playing that game that's the #1 in the world in that commercial for that Pac-Man game? Oh yeah, I beat the shit out of him and stick fight the game. Go and check it out. And he totally was fine with it. Like, that's a humble brag, and you should deserve that. Like, we shouldn't quantify why you're a great gamer because you're better at Pac-Man or you're better at Stick Fighter. Like, if I'm great at Pac-Man and you're great at Stick Fighter, and we face each other, and I'm not better than you at Stick Fighter than you are me at Pac-Man, and you win in the competition. It's the sport of the competition, right? We're all just actuating buttons, and if you beat me in that competition, it's up to me to either to rise with you or just humbly appreciate what you're doing. So telling you that you're a piece of shit because you beat my ass is just it's not our forte. So we're gonna let that live on in perpetuity as long as we don't have to worry about the fact that it's gonna be monetized here on either the Vid-Bits or the Pop Plays channel. It makes sense for you guys to get that to live in infamy, and I know that I would love to be able to say that, yeah, here's the link to this website where I whipped the shit out of this guy that's like the world's best Pac-Man player, but I'm only the world's best Pac-Man player because you guys will not get Pac fever and fill these lobbies with the humans instead of bots. And I know it will happen, guys. I know it will. I really do. That's pretty much my final thought on that. So as I close out the day, I'm going to go ahead and go over the United States leaderboard because we did the global one to start. And I just want to make sure I give some love to those guys in the outro. And stay tuned to an episode of Sleeplessness. Again, I love doing it. I haven't had a reason or way to do it for a while. But it's just something I'm going to go flip through. It's like, if you're flipping through the channels of the Vid-Bits and seeing all of our different shows, Sleeplessness block is like you flipping through me like playing Nintendo games and you not knowing what I'm going to do. But if you are in chat, I will definitely take suggestions because we have access to almost all of them. So I wish Chief was the best Pac-Man player. We were talking about getting an adaptive controller and getting him to do some stuff. You know, as long as he didn't feel like, you know, he was being taken abuse of, but Tritos are something that he will do stuff for all the time. More likely than not, even if he spent the money and you guys bought us and it would be you guys, you would have to buy the adaptive controller through your Super Chats, donos, members, and all that shit. We would buy that for him, and then he still would be barking more that he was trying to eat the treat we're providing than trying to slap the controller around, I bet. But it would be cool to get an adaptive controller to see how many games we could beat with our feet. I know that sounds weird, and Braid does not like feet, and I'm not saying that they would be freshly linen socks and all that stuff, but it'd be really cool because I had a unfortunate incident when I was growing up where I burned my hand and I couldn't use my left hand for an entire 3-week period during summer, and it was a really bad burn. And I was like, man, I could just look at games. I couldn't do anything with them because I had a blister the size of a golf ball in the center of my hand, so I couldn't hold a controller, and even like all of my fingers all the way up my fingertips were burned, so I couldn't even hold it or like grasp around it. And obviously my right hand was okay, and as I, you know, left hand for the D-pad or whatever, how it's traditionally left-handed, it was just frustrating that I was like, man, I'm just gonna put this controller on the floor and I'm gonna figure this shit out. And like, Lord, if I didn't, I swear I was so desperate to play, I tried, and I was like, nope, just cannot play Mario 3 with your toes to move and actuate the buttons. And it was kind of funny. So just the things that we do for the love of the game. So again, the things that we do for the love of the game is a good segue to the US local Eastern leaderboards. I don't have access to the whole thing yet. We will get there, guys. We will get there. Number 20, we have Big Joe 4200. That's a new name. They now pushed up Trap Cat. So we have Big Joe 4200 with a 222-1 win-loss record and a rating of 16,581. Trap Cat Mally with 280-4 win-loss record with a rating of 16,612. Coming in at 18 is Zero Stratus with a win-loss of 233-2 and a rating of 16,668. Then we have number 17, Try Again. That's a new name. That's pretty cool. 303-6 is the win-loss, and then we have the rating of 19,139. Coming in at 16 is Toy Hunter with a win-loss record of 299-3 and a rating of 19,372. Then we have Gamer Bull at the number 15 spot with the 279 5 win-loss and a rating of 19,765. Just missing out on the 20,000 and above. And number 14 is Daddy Mark with a win-loss of 278 and 4 and a rating of 19,783. Number 13 is Insanity Drew with a 279 and 1, and with also tied with a 279 and 1 is Guardian Fan Such. They are 13 and 12 respectively, with a 20,492 and 20,665 rating as well. Number 11 is Gamer 2012 with a win-loss of 323 and 4 and a rating of 20,928. And the bottom of the top 10, we have P-Man 454 with this 298 and 1 win-loss and a rating of 21,381. Then we have number 9, True Carnage, at the win-loss of 327 and 1 and the rating of 23,808. Just missing out on the splash page is David Dow 00 with a 333 and 0 win-loss and the rating of 24,611. Our top 7 Chomp champs of the U.S. Eastern Division. Number 7 is Nello. They have a 372 and 1 win-loss record with a rating of 26,330. Blasting up into the top of the stratosphere of the splash page is Space with a win-loss of 383 and 0 flawless, with the only being the second highest flawless in the U.S. Eastern Division and the rating of 27,754. Your top 5 Chomp champions of the U.S. Eastern Division. Number 5, Shanimal, continuing to impress and now cresting over the 400 mark barrier, the 5th one to do that in the U.S. Eastern Division, 407 and 2 with a 27,791 win record, but showing that you can have 20 games above you and there only be 40-ish points in difference in rating. That shows you really the quality of wins matter more than the quantity. Number 5 is Shiba Inu with a 536 and 11 win-loss record and a rating of 33,136. Your top 3 Chomp champions of the U.S. Eastern Division, we have number 3 in the number 3 spot and continuing to impress and trying to blast off into space is the Mothership Baby, 488 and 2 with a rating of 33,797. And your former champion, Kofi YT, is 829 and 0 with a rating of 61,686 and is the first person to hit the 40, 50, and 60,000 point metrics, but only the second to the person which is number 1, which would be us, with the 1,280 win-loss record with 1,280 and 3 and a rating of 92,901. We are the first people to hit the 70, 80, and 90,000 metric in the U.S. Eastern Division, not to mention our accolades in the higher division. So, humble brag, we put in the time, but unfortunately Kofi is now 2/3 behind us, and as you can see, he was already the Pac-Maniac that paid for early access clearly, and the people like him and some of the people on the top, these people are so close, but they're not even a fourth of the way where we're at. So when it comes to worrying about the U.S. Championship, guys, and even the metric of when Labor Day or Memorial Day comes, I'm not losing it anytime soon, so I can rest easy with giving him a 25 win head start. I'm going to do some sleeplessness, see how I feel. I might jump back in and do another pack snack before then, and then that way I can start my day a little bit later tomorrow. I haven't figured it out. I do have some things manipulated in the schedule, so I will be pretty much taking care of everything. It'll be playing Brian for the Vid-Bits tomorrow because Bray has some obligations to do socially, so I will be filling in much like he did when I was doing Road to Number 1 and there was a lot going on. So yay. Hey Panther. Yeah man, God, I got 5 people in here. Yeah, I'm gonna do something I call sleeplessness. I'm gonna throw on the NES and just rip through some Nintendo, kind of work on some of my speedrun stuff for a little bit, talk to you in chat. So if you want to hang around and look forward to that. And you can, if not, I'm going to throw it up anyways because I need a little bit of a break from Pac-Man because we got a 25. I think we're 25. Way more than that. Let's see. Let's quantify it, guys. That's the fun. Since we have people in chat, I can use I can do the techie stuff again and let you know where we're at. So the difference between the two of us is we have 92,901 of a rating, and they have 90,097. So the difference is 2,804. So we go 2,804. We divide it by 75, which is what a win gets you. So that's 37.38. So we go 37.38, and we can do 12 wins an hour. So we are about 3 hours and 10-ish minutes ahead of our rivals. So we can afford to do whatever we want for 3-ish minutes. And unless they are on right now, they don't have the... Or 3 hours and 15 minutes. Like if we can do whatever we want. See, this is where we're at with being in the lead, is we're quantifying it to how much time, and we're giving them just a little bit more time before we just run away with it. So we're kind of like making a cosmic contract to let them know that we're not calling you out, but we're calling you out and waking you up and giving you one more chance to be the global champion before we take it away, like we have the United States Championship. Like I don't know who is in the Western Division. I think it's Kofi. So we're in the Eastern Division. Kofi's in the Eastern Division. I don't know who's in the Western Division because it's not clarifying that. So I don't know how big of a competition we have as far as the person coming behind us there, but I don't think it's very big. And the bigger competition is here on the global board because there's people all over the place that are just rising out of nowhere, and that's why I love featuring it. So hopefully you guys love the time putting in there. So like I said, 3 hours and 10 minutes head start if he does the maximum amount of damage to me while I'm away, and hopefully he does a little bit, because I will definitely ping back and check about 6 o'clock before I go to bed, and if he hasn't made no moves, then I won't probably do another pack snack. I'll go to bed. What? Panther, bro. Hell yeah, man. Good job, man. I've been passively keeping up, and I have to say that I'm impressed. Yeah,
Holy shit! Did you see?
I know, dude.
Sorry, I was just about to go to bed. Shout out to Pink Panther, a regular here in chat, saying keep up the grind, man. Yeah. Just another person telling us that we're doing the right thing, that we're moving in the right direction, and that you guys really do think that we're here to stay. The Vid-Bits are here to stay on YouTube, and we're ready for any challenge that you guys throw at us, whether that be, Dad becoming the champion, the #1 global ranked player in all of Pac-Man Megatunnel Battle, or me finishing my Dark Souls 3 journey and moving on into Elden Ring in the future. I'm just so happy, blessed, and appreciative to be in this position with you guys, with you, Dad. I know I said I was gonna go to bed.
No, you're fine, dude. I know that you do a little bit of modding on your way out, so man, I appreciate you.
I'm gonna go lay down. I'm gonna revel in this, and really experience this joy. You guys spend these last couple minutes talking together. I know Dad likes to round the numbers out, so I'm sure you guys are gonna chat for a bit until you get into your sleeplessness stream. But thank you guys, thank you everyone. Like I mentioned earlier, shout out to Matthew, shout out to Pink Panther for all of the consistent support. You guys are the best. But take care, good night, sleep well, guys. That's awesome.
Thank you very much, Panther. It is so appreciated. Again, everything that Braden said and more, because it's support from you, man. Like, especially during some of the times that you poked in when I was on the road to #1, and some of the other people in our community, and it was really meaningful, and more so because I really wanted it for me. But I said before, I wanted it for the community, and I thought because it was so small and mighty, to promise you something so big, I really wanted to deliver like Babe Ruth did. Like, he keeps using the analogy where he just pointed to the stands and he like hit that home run, and I'm like, I thought it was gonna take weeks, if not months, to even get close. And literally, Pig had the win, man. He had about, I just showed you the math on how I could figure out that he is like a couple of hours behind me now, but I was 31 or 33 hours away. And it says impossible because there's 24 hours in a day, and somebody literally could find a way to professionally play this game and sleep for like 4 hours a day. And they don't not have to do that forever. You could do that for a week at that type of 30-hour lead, and then you would just destroy it. You just blow it out the roof, and then so somebody would see you and they'd be like, that's why that guy's number one, and I just leave him alone. I'll just try to sell for number two. I feel like, and I'm not calling you out, Kofi, because I don't know you, but I feel like that's kind of what happened. Is you thought you were in a specific situation, and we really figured this game out quickly. And the lightning in the bottle here is that it wasn't populated by real people, because I could possibly not be the greatest player right now if I had a lot of competition that had random elements and everything else. That's why I want to challenge myself now by having that be the case, and then eventually build the community and make it so more that we're challenged by members of the community. Because not that I can't be humbled by some random person, but it doesn't matter as much as if it's one of you guys or one of the people in the Discord that love this game, and then I can, you know, also self-promote your gamer tag, and because we're facing off. And then if you're recording footage of it, I don't care what you do with it, as long as you don't, like, you know what I mean, like we'll figure out the red tape there, you know what I mean. But to me, it's more important of that, because then you can like get better in a personal way, and then also not rely on the fact that when you go into ranked, you have no idea what's going to happen. But their idea was that if you were, say, in the US Eastern Division, and you had a bunch of buddies that were into this, like a social club, in the very least, if you all played in the same pocket of time, and the same servers should come up where you could come across each other occasionally. But if everybody was super infectious about it, that would be like an all the time thing, and the bot thing would be like a literally just to get the game fired up, and we had to fill a couple spots thing. So I really think that it's going to turn around. I have a feeling that we're going to continue to try to heal the culture, especially I've talked to people around town about Pac-Man, and they're infectious about the guy, and you know, they don't have like this, oh, what about 99 mentality. They have this, oh, it's Pac-Man and it reminds me of my childhood and happiness. So it's just how you feel about it at the end of the day, and stop fucking pissing in other people's Wheaties. So with that being said, this is this episode of Chomp Champs, and we did a pack snack. We got a little bit ahead of our rival. As you can see, we are don't worry about how many matches we are ahead, but we are about time wise, like I dictated, about 38 games, which equates to, you know, almost a little bit over 2 pack snacks. So you'd be full and forget your manners if you ate that, and you'd know that you have about 2 hours ahead of me, so maybe 3. And I'm gonna go ahead and enjoy some NES as the dessert. So if you're gonna stick around with me, know that I'll be going live again in about 15 minutes as I get that set up. And it's Brian from the Vid-Bits. We appreciate being your reigning, defending, undisputed Chomp champion, the double Chomp, because we got the North American and global championships, and we're reigning and defending for you guys in the Vid-Bits. You know, you can be the small but mighty community that gets us to say when they see the commercial from Bandai Namco's amazing game, not only Dark Souls, but, you know, Chomp Champs, that there's people that are out there in the community repping those brands hard because they love those properties. So again, when we're talking about the active sponsorship, full disclaimer that we are pursuing from Bandai Namco, it is in the best interest of you guys, because if they could give us the money, then we could get the studio better, and we could produce more full-time, and Pops could not be working at the theater that he's working at, that he doesn't want to be at anymore. And no offense to the people there, because they're awesome, but it's time to create full-time, and it's all in the hands of the cosmos, because we are doing everything we can every day, maximum right now, pow boom. And I encourage you to do that, and that's one of my mantras, and you'll hear that over and over again, because I believe it's the key of the twilight of self-actualization, and you too can be a YouTuber or an artist, or a philanthropist, or a politician, or a musician, anything. You know, just maximize and do something today. Love you guys. See you in sleeplessness soon. Your reigning Chomp Champ. Out.